Hello and welcome to the Winning Sometimes show. This is a podcast that it's just us three friends getting together, talking about video games. We kind of want to share our passion about video games and kind of talk about how they work and what we like about it, what we don't like, and just kind of hang out. So I'm Clint. We have Emiliano and Matt. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing all right. It is going to take some time getting used to this first name thing, but kind of exciting, I guess.
It is.
So we are friends that have been playing games together, most notably Destiny the game and Destiny 2 the game. But we've played a lot together, so we know each other by our usernames, which mine is Krakenfall, Matt's is No Face, and Emiliano's is Ronan LD.
LD, because Ronan was taken at the time. So
I'm surprised you didn't go with like the X's in front and the X's in back and the underscores and things like that.
I'm old.
Oh, mine used to. I finally got Krakenfall.
Well, but when I made it, that wasn't a thing. X, Y's, underscores, asterisks, that wasn't a thing back then. We weren't that
like
cool.
They hadn't invented those letters or what?
No one had thought to put them at the ends and beginnings of tags yet. You know.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that's because the Halo 10-year-olds hadn't started making Xbox Live accounts then.
Not yet.
Of which I am one. So let's get started with the podcast. Let's just go through and talk about who we are and why we have opinions. No.
Because we're human is my guess.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Yeah.
As a human, I swear. I know no one can see me, but I swear I'm a human.
I'll go first, I guess. Ronan LD is my handle. My name is Emiliano. I've been gaming for a while now. I think the first game I played was on the Commodore 64, if anyone knows what that is anymore.
Nice.
It was a Pac-Man ripoff. Oh, what was it called? I forget. But anyway, probably my favorite games at this point are RPG-like games. Although nowadays everything has RPG mechanics in them. So shooters I like. Mostly cooperative. I don't really do PvP. I'm horrible at it. I'm too old. So.
Okay, so Ronan, when you say RPG-like, can you give me an example of that? Because I honestly don't know exactly what you mean by that.
Well, Destiny has those mechanics where you have stats that you can increase with better armor in that instance. Like Zelda, as another example, has those mechanics where you level up your life as you go along.
Okay.
Like a lot of games have now incorporated RPG elements into them, where as you level, you get either better stats or better equipment, kind of thing. I guess I consider that RPG mechanics, the leveling process.
Okay, no. I wasn't entirely sure what that meant. I was like, oh god, do I not know what RPGs actually are? Have I only been playing RPG likes?
It's absolutely a purist's view of an RPG, because a pure RPG is like tabletop, right? You build your character, you have your stats and your scorecard or your stat sheet, and you go through stuff and you modify it as you go and you role play that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
roll
Nowadays people just call
dice.
RPGs. Yeah. Yeah.
I played RPGs growing up. Wait, no, you play RPGs too, don't you now? I thought you have a D&D thing going.
Yeah, so, and I guess that'll segue into me being me. I'm Matt. They're going to call me No Face a lot because that is kind of my username. But yeah, I honestly, if I'm going to talk about games, yes, I love role-playing games. I know none of the rules to role-playing games. I just enjoy making up weird characters and having them act out weird stuff. But as far as video games, in all honesty, my probably favorite video game ever is StarCraft Brood War. I am super into the RTSs, and it kind of sucks that they don't exist anymore. So, I love StarCraft. That was my jam, and I got really excited recently when there was some rumor they were going to make a Warcraft RTS again. They were going to make Warcraft 4. Not that I trust Blizzard to do anything at this point, but that's a completely different conversation.
Oh man, that's a podcast episode right there.
But wait, isn't there still the Korean League with StarCraft? Like with the championships and the
Oh
money
yeah,
and stuff?
Oh yeah,
It's still
but
around.
that's
It's
well,
still around.
just like there's a CS:GO original league, pro league, and
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't really
Yeah.
watch CS:GO.
it's pretty popular over there. The StarCraft.
Oh yeah.
So Matt, who are you? What is your why did you pick No Face for your handle? And
okay. So, if you've ever seen Spirited Away, it's a Studio Ghibli film. Was it Miyazaki? Miyazaki?
Yep.
Miyazaki.
I don't know. It's a Japanese studio. Anyways, I'm sure you can just Google it and you'll find it because I don't have time for that. Anyway,
it's good stuff.
even if I looked it up, I wouldn't be able to pronounce it, so it doesn't matter. I really, really, really enjoyed Spirited Away, and like I had just watched the movie when I think like my roommate got like one of the Fallout games or got a Halo or something like that. And like in order to log on to the Xbox or whatever, you had to create an account and you just picked a name. And so I was like, whatever, I just watched Spirited Away. And so I picked a No Face. And that was like, I don't know, a decade ago or something like that, probably more. And I have not regretted it in any way, shape, or form because that movie still is awesome. So, yeah,
And you got-
that's
like the pure name, No Face with a space in between, and no one
So-
else had picked that.
yeah, but mine is NOH because at the time, because again, I wasn't Googling stuff when I made my name. I didn't know how they had actually spelled No Face in the movie. And so in the English version of the script, it is just NO space face. But yeah, like I didn't know if it was like a play on No Theater from Japan or something like that. And so
Oh.
I put like NOH in there. So
That's pretty cool.
again, no regrets.
And all the number of times that you've told me how you got your name, I didn't know that much. So that's pretty cool.
You didn't know that much?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Heyo.
I'll let it stand. So, I'm Clint. My username is Krakenfall on pretty much everything. And if someone's already taken it, which has only happened once, that was the Elder Scrolls Online. Somebody had already taken Krakenfall, and I just put the Krakenfall. But that's pretty much my username everywhere. Yeah, I mean, I got my username same. I mean, I used to have like Marsman or something as a kid, but like, yeah, Xbox Live was also the genesis of Krakenfall, and I just couldn't think of anything. And I was like, "What's cool?" Well, I don't know. Krakens are cool. Well, when people see my name, what do I want them to think of? Well, Krakenfall. Kraken is here. So that's kind of what I picked it. That was during the times when you could get a free, what was it, week or free month of Xbox Live if you
Free
created
month.
a new account. So I created Krakenfall, and then I ran out of Xbox Live, so I created another one, XX Krakenfall XX, and used that one. And that's the one when I actually started playing games and actually like getting achievements. And I was like, oh crap, well I can't go back to Krakenfall because there's. Anyway, it took me like 10 years to actually shut down the original Krakenfall and then transfer the name over. I had to talk to Xbox support and all that, but yeah, I like pretty much most kinds of games. My favorite game of all time is Super Mario World because that's like the Genesis game. That's like the beginning. That's my origin story. So I played Super Mario World in my neighbor's basement while my brother, flipped off and played with my neighbor. And I was the little kid, so they just threw me in the basement and gave me a Super Nintendo controller and said, shut up and play video games.
Sounds like the start of a horror story.
Well, when you say basement, I mean, all kinds of things come to mind. But all I was doing was playing Super Mario World in there, and that was fun. But I really enjoy RPGs, story-based games. I used to really love open-world games, but I'm pretty burnt out on them, so they kind of have to have like good mechanics or engaging like world narrative. Love story games. Walking simulators I'm fine with as long as there's a good story. But yeah, FPSs are the thing that I play most of the time. and that includes Destiny. I haven't played Destiny much this year. Man, this year is completely different than any other year anyway, so that's
Accurate.
another. Yeah. But yeah, right now I'm playing Call of Duty Warzone a lot. It's the best battle royale game I've ever played. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know we talk about Destiny a fair amount here, but I am not into FPSs. Like that's just not my jam, which is really really weird.
Considering that
Like,
I know for a fact that you've played at least 1,500 hours of Destiny between Destiny 1 and 2.
that is it's not true. It's probably like 1,400.
I only say that because I clocked in at 1,500 hours of Destiny 1, and I know that you were probably...
I played a lot. I
Yeah.
played a whole lot, but it was to hang out with you, Crack, and you.
Oh,
Ryan.
jeez.
What? I can tell
Well-
my sentiment is not wanted here.
Well, is it PvP that you
So
don't
what-
like, or is it because FPS is? I mean, when I think FPS, I always think
FPS
PvP.
multiplayer?
Yeah, I mean, because like oh gosh, Half-Life is an FPS, but it's an amazing game. It's a story-based game. I consider Destiny, the cooperative side, the PvE side, for me, great. PvP, not so much for me, but
So, for me, the thing I don't like about FPSs is like the shooting and stuff like that. That's the stuff that I don't actually really enjoy.
it's true.
So, for me, like, well, one, I just suck at them. So there's that. Like, so that makes it, it's harder to enjoy a game that you're bad at, right? But I guess for me, like, the whole thing is that again, like my favorite games, like the games I don't know how many hours I have in StarCraft, Brood War, and StarCraft 2, and so like which is a completely different type of game, and so for me, like FPSs are just like, I mean, they're okay, and like quite genuinely, the main reason I play Destiny is because of the fact that like I enjoy the people that I play with. Like I have a lot of friends who play Destiny, and that's enjoyable for me. Like the only reason I play Halo on PC is because like my old roommate plays it, and so that's how we hang out sometimes. But like left to my own devices, I probably wouldn't play FPS games. So
what game would you play if you could bring people to play with you?
what game would I play if I could like if I just like so
You
all
played
my
the
friends
thing you wanted to play,
yeah
And
and
everyone
then
would play
friends
with
come
you.
play
Yes.
with you.
I don't even know. Like that's a great question. I have no clue. Because yeah, outside of, like Destiny and the RTSs and things like that I don't play very many RTSs anymore. But outside of that, I play a lot of like single player story driven type things, but very few FPSs. If I were gonna play a game with friends, honestly, it'd probably be something like you were mentioning earlier, like an actual role playing game. A D&D or like Divinity Original Sin, something like that, if it were doing like virtual, because I'm not going near people right now. Yeah, it would be something like that, like something actual role play ish, whatever, you know what I'm saying.
But
Yeah.
but like what
RPG.
would it be? What would the perspective be? Like top down, 3/4, over the shoulder? What do you prefer?
Like isometric,
okay.
third part,
Yeah,
third
isometric.
person. Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I'll say, as I point my like can of water at everyone. This is what I'll say. I played a ton of the original Diablo, so and that was awesome. I loved the original Diablo, and so I really like. I can't remember what Blizzard did originally to make me boycott them, but I stopped playing their games for one of the myriad of crappy things that they did, and so I never played anything past Diablo 2. But yeah, something like Diablo 2, like the kind of what is that 3/4 isometric? I don't know what that's actually called.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, top down
I'll accept it.
overworld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did Blizzard do around then? I can't even think. Anyway.
I don't know.
Probably the Chinese
The
streamer.
Hong Kong thing.
Yeah, the Hong Kong.
No, that was I had
That's
long
way later?
since deleted
Okay.
my
Yeah, no, that was
Blizzard
like Diablo
account.
Okay.
3 or
He was a Hearthstone player, so that was
That's
like
right,
last
that's
year,
right, that's
which I
right.
know
Oh.
feels like forever ago.
You're right.
Maybe it was. Do you guys even have phones? Don't you guys have phones?
well, no, but he's talking
Oh,
he's talking
man.
Diablo 1, and that came out.
No, I played Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, and then at some point, I can't remember, like, again, I don't remember what Blizzard did to piss me off. It may have actually been something, because I know I had a friend. Okay, so this all right, we're getting way nerdy into my past here.
Yeah.
So I had a friend, we were both on the college StarCraft team, because that's a thing, right? And he actually went to work for Blizzard, and it may have been something that happened while he was working there that like made me, swear off Blizzard. Like something I did know something crappy had happened to him, but I can't remember if that's why I stopped playing their games or not.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a much more real reason than
Yeah.
oh, I don't like your monetization practices. I'm gonna stop.
I wouldn't be able to play
playing
any
your games.
game.
Yeah. Right.
You could play
Right,
Monster Hunter
which-
because their monetization scheme is amazing. Amazing.
For those who don't know, Ronan Emiliano over here is a Monster Hunter apologist. I think that's like the most polite way to say that.
I wasn't gonna put it that way, even though I'm the one like at the end of his pleas the most. But yeah, that's kind of what you are. Monster Hunter World came out and I didn't like it. I think I tried to give it maybe 5 hours or so gameplay, and everyone there was a couple guys in the okay, we haven't talked about how we met and why we're here. So, on the side, we all played Destiny, which we sort of talked about. But in Destiny, there are clans or gaming groups that you can join, and then you all have each other on your friends list to play. And we played Destiny for, as you heard, thousands of hours. It was great. Plenty to do. We could talk about Destiny another time, but from that we've grown into just a group of gaming buddies who have played all kinds of games together. We have a Discord. We're both on console and PC, and it's pretty
And
great.
we play a bunch of other games now too. It originally started as Destiny, but we've kind of the group has branched out and plays a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah, half of them I haven't even thought about playing before, but Monster Hunter World came around, and I didn't really take to it. Emiliano did
I enjoyed it a lot.
a lot. And every time I'm like, I don't really like it for this reason or that reason, it's like I'm never gonna hear the end of it. And so every chance Emiliano gets, I hear about Monster Hunter and what's new, how I might enjoy it, and
How great it is.
how the UI still stinks.
It does. I agree. It
Oh,
does.
I never heard that before. Thank you.
Well, it's very counterintuitive, like you'd mentioned, and it takes a long time to get used to it and some semblance of familiarity to actually be able to do things. So, yes,
Right.
you're right.
It is 100% a software developer's brain dump. It's like, we have all these systems for you to enjoy in the game, mechanics, currencies, item management, inventory management, and I'm just going to put everything. Well, we got to have a place in the UI for this. Let's just put that in there, and it just ends up being this big jumble of a bunch of lists and
Yeah.
detail buttons, and it's.
But I mean, after you play several hundred hours, you just know it's like, all right, I'm gonna hold right bumper, tap the left stick up 3 times, and then I've got to go tap left stick down 3 times, and I mean, it's just it's simple. Come on.
Yeah, just like driving a junker piece of crap car where you know how to get it started, and when it sort of squeals this way, you just shake the steering wheel a little bit and you keep going.
I don't
Radiator
appreciate you
busts.
talking about my cars that way. All right.
Hey, I'm talking about my car. I'm sorry if it applies to you too.
No.
But
No,
and
I
I
had a
think
junker
of
last.
the
I
original group of guys that kind of played it. I feel like a lot of them dropped off. Except I'm like the last man standing. Me and No played a couple times, but our schedules haven't really mixed well. But yeah, I'm like the sole Monster Hunter player of all the people that I used to play with. So it's sad.
Yeah.
Tear.
Yeah, it is a good game though. Like the UI is kind of trash, but it's a good game if you can overlook the glaring flaw that is, actually playing it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and for me, like the apart from the UI, like the best thing is that the company treats their players, I feel, with respect. Like Monster Hunter came out and they had 5 updates and they released like I think 5 or 6 monsters and events all for free. Iceborne came out and the same thing. They've had 5 title updates. They've released like 4 new monsters. They've redone some older monsters all for free. They have like skins for free. They have pay ones too, but they have so much just as part of the purchase price, which I find fantastic.
So
It is fantastic.
you remember that part where I was saying that Emiliano here likes to be a Monster Hunter apologist? I'm just bring that up for no apparent reason here whatsoever.
Just because he had a positive thing to say. No. So that's the inside joke. If we ever talk about Monster Hunter or Emiliano ribs me for some reason saying the letters MWH or MHW.
MHW.
That's what that's about. So we wanted to sort of talk about what's the elephant in the room. It's like we've all played video games. We've had Destiny and the one game that we play a lot. But 2020 is a thing that happened, the year 2020. And a lot of things changed. Even as we talk today, something big has changed.
Which we are not going to talk about, don't worry.
No. No. But we wanted to talk about a little bit like how has 2020 changed your life and your gaming. So, Matt, why don't you get us started?
Sure. So yes, this has been a very long year, and we're in like November at this point. We're not even done with it yet. So I know there's been a lot of stuff, like people talking about like the end of the world bingo and everything like that people are working on. But like stuff that's like actually more close to home, and I guess like in my home where I live, is obviously like the lockdown and things like that happen. It changed my life a lot. Like first off, okay, and this is going to be something that will probably become very apparent as we go through the weeks here. I love coffee. Absolutely love coffee. My background is in science. I have a degree in genetics. I worked in a lab for a long time and things like that. And so when I say I love coffee, I mean that. What was that face for there, Clint?
I didn't know that you had a degree in genetics. It's like one of my favorite things to read about. It's crazy interesting. Sorry.
No, it's fine, but like, all right, so I know y'all can't see, but like I say that, and like his jaw just hits the floor, and I'm like, what? I'm sorry, did something happen that I didn't know about? Did I just make him relive some traumatic
I don't know.
experience?
I'm just really happy to be here and learning more about my friends. This is great.
Fair enough. But yeah, so now that I am working from home, because I work for an internet company, and so, luckily, thankfully, because I work for an internet company, we were kind of in demand, and I didn't have to worry about maintaining a job or anything like that. But one of the big things is now I used to have like about a 40-minute commute to work. And so now I get up and I can make myself the perfect cup of coffee. Like, I'm kind of a nerd in every aspect of my life. Like I have a notebook where I log like the weight of the coffee that I'm measuring out. I log how much water I put in there, the temperature, and like I'm constantly measuring stuff and the brew time, and so that I can consistently make the best cup of coffee that I possibly can. And that has been so nice. I know that like so many different things have been like awful this year. But the one bright spot that I'm pulling out of this is that honestly, I'm making really good coffee, which is really
Yeah,
nice. I'm really enjoying that.
that's funny. That's great. I am. I come from a bit of a computer science background myself. So I'm thinking like just scientific. You're going through all of this effort to like log things and try and make, but the first thing that comes to mind is like the variable you can't control, because you can control brew time, you can control temperature, you can control blooming the grounds before you start, but you can't control bean roasting quality. So you're gonna start roasting your own
Uh,
beans.
so I pretty much only order beans. One of my friends runs a roastery, and so yeah, I get like pretty consistent, same type of beans, same like
Oh, okay.
I'm a coffee snob. Like she gets me like beans, not just like from a single country or anything like that or single farm. Like she'll get me like single patch beans, and so like they're all harvested on the same day. And honestly, I don't even want to know how much that should be costing me like per pound, because I know it's ridiculously expensive. But like I'll order, I'll call her up and tell her I need some whatever, some beans, and then all of a sudden like this extra bag will show up. Like she'll just send me a pound of like in like geisha coffee or something, which is like $40 a pound or something. And yeah, so
Wow.
yeah,
That's
again, it's
that's an
nice.
incredible secret to have. An incredible resource too. That's cool. I am somewhat of a coffee snob. Not really. I just have grown to love coffee that's not Folgers and not brewed, at boiling temperature. And yeah, it's like you really get a lot of flavor. So I'm a little jealous now.
Yeah,
So coffee, go ahead,
my wife is the coffee person in the household.
aficionado.
Yeah, I like a little coffee with my sugar, so that tells you where I'm at on the coffee spectrum. Um, but
See, and that's why I hate like the whole like coffee snob thing, because like my friend that I was telling you about that owns a roastery, um, we always argue about like how much your ratio should be for coffee and this and that, and whether you should add milk or do whatever, and we always end up settling on the best coffee, and I think this goes back to like what we were talking about with games, how we all have like different preferences in games. Like the best coffee is the coffee that you enjoy the way that you enjoy it. So if you like your coffee with sugar, like, and more power to you, that's fine. Um, but the second half of that is obviously if you're doing it differently from me, you're wrong, right?
well,
We
if you
were
have any
going in
extra
such an
coffee,
egalitarian direction. There we go.
yeah, Matt, if you have any extra coffee, send it my way because my wife would enjoy it.
Absolutely.
So, what's your favorite type of roast?
Um, Personally, I'm on this big Yemeni kick, natural processed Yemen. It is Yemeni coffee from Yemen. I am not a cultured person. I don't know these words, but yeah, that's what I'm really into right now.
But like medium,
Oh,
light,
it's a
dark,
light roast. It's definitely
light
a light
roast. Okay.
roast.
You like the jitters in the morning.
I like the flavors. All right,
Okay. I generally drink a lot. Like with liquids,
a lot of coffee.
like liquids in general. Like I was a runner in high school and college.
Liquids.
Yeah. But being a runner, you got to stay hydrated, and so I just am programmed to pretty much guzzle any liquid that comes across the front of my face, and coffee is no exception. So if I do light roast too much, I will like OD on caffeine because I
Nice.
will like provide enough coffee and then like too much and drink too much. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but for me, the quality of coffee has been probably the biggest change since lockdown happened. My company is still in lockdown. None of us are going back to the office, so I'm still enjoying really good coffee. So that's probably been the biggest thing for me. going on. And obviously, working from home, I have a little more time to play games, and my schedule's a little more flexible. So all this sort of stuff is good. But Ronan, Emiliano, what about you? What has been the big changes this year for you?
Well, yeah, I work for school district as a programmer analyst is my title, but it's a lot of basic database management. But prior to the lockdown in California, I never worked from home. But with the lockdown, we were forced to work from home, and the lockdown happened right before summer, really. So we had maybe like a couple of weeks of school before, it was on summer break. And this summer was fantastic for gaming because I'd be at my desk and I'd take breaks, play video games. Everything's all set up. I don't know. I played a lot of games at that time. I don't even remember what games I played, but I played a lot and it was great.
Probably some Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter, Division 2. I played. I started playing. Oh my God, the walking simulator, Death Stranding. God of War. I beat Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4. Fantastic game. I love Spider-Man, and I want to get Miles Morales at this point too, but I haven't yet. But then with the start of school, our boys are working from home, and my game time has gone down tremendously because I can't really load anything up in the time it takes that they might need some help or that my wife needs some additional assistance. So I found that my game time now is way down. I used to play nightly, like on Tuesday nights or Thursday nights, but as part of this whole thing, we have 2 dogs now, and I take them running in the mornings.
Oh.
It's about a 3-mile jog walk, and I end up falling asleep a lot earlier now because of that, I think. So. But as on a side note, recently a game released on mobile, PC, and PS4 called Genshin Impact. Have you guys played Genshin Impact?
It's made a
No.
splash.
Dude,
I see you talking about it all the time.
It loads on my phone like so quick. It has Zelda Breath of the Wild like graphics, maybe a little less because it's on a phone. But that's my main game right now. Genshin Impact.
Breath of the Genshin Impact.
Pretty much. Breath of
tell
Genshin
me,
Impact.
tell me about Genshin Impact because I've heard so much about it. I think my Twitter feed exploded that week it came out, and there's been consistent consistent check-ins about Genshin Impact and they changed this, they changed that. What is it even?
It is very similar to Breath of the Wild. You have like a huge map. There's teleportation waypoints you can go across. It has kind of similar combat as well, although there's more of an emphasis of elemental reactions and changing characters to get different reactions. The biggest thing about it, though, is that it has a gacha system where you have to kind of spend gems to draw characters, and what you get is all random. So if you don't get any good characters, you might have a harder time or not as fun time. And additionally, there's like a resin system, which is time based. So once you use it, you have to wait for it to refill, and that can also be refilled with money, basically. So the characters get pulled by money, or this resin system can get filled by money, and you need that system to level your characters. So it's fun, but it still has these kind of mobile mechanics where.
Yeah.
Like it'd be great if this was a fully priced game because it has that kind of production values with it. The voice acting is great, the animations are great, the characters are all animated well, but it does have that, that gotcha, that spend money to pull characters kind of mechanic. And if you're not lucky, it's still fun, but it might be a lot harder for you to kind of progress. So,
what is the main gameplay loop though? Like, I heard characters. You have a map. You can go places.
Well, there is a story, and I finished the story, and they're supposed to add more story in the next big update. But they have like dungeons. that you can go to farm for materials or for level up, like either for materials to level up your weapons or materials to level up your character. Which
is it like a third person action game where you have like, attack and
yeah,
jump, and
yeah.
or is it like an RPG turn based,
No,
or?
no, it's like Breath of the Wild. That same kind of view.
Oh, okay.
And you swap your characters out to do different attacks to cause different status ailments.
Is
But
it single player or multiplayer?
it can be single player or multiplayer. So you can join, people can join you, you can join them. 4 people only though. At this point, it reminds me a lot. Like I've gone to the end, and there's no more story, and it reminds me a lot of like Destiny, where you have the daily things you do. You log in, do your 4 daily missions, go clear your dungeons to get materials until you use all your resin. Wait for your resin to refill, then go do those dungeons again to get more material to level up your characters. So that's basically where it's at right now. But they're writing more stories, they're writing more characters soon. So, but it's fun. I mean,
Is the main chase after story like with Destiny? I mean, you have like trials or raids, and you can get guns that help make those easier or more interesting, or more powerful. Is it a power chase, or
yeah,
are there
yeah.
weapons and armor
There is a power chase. The thing is, the best weapons are also behind the whole the gacha RNG mechanic. Like right now, I'm using a bunch of craftable items, which they're okay. They're not the best, but I mean, I'm at a point. My team is strong enough where I can clear stuff, and I have fun playing. So,
I like how you keep calling him gotcha mechanics. I don't know that I've heard that before, but I feel like that's a great way of describing that.
yeah, well, it's spelled GACHA, gotcha. I think it's. I don't even know what the origin of the word
Wait,
is.
so it's actually like a
Gotcha.
real
Yeah,
word in another language?
It
right,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what it's about, but I mean, it's like slot machine, isn't it?
It is. It is totally slot machine.
Or loot box.
Yeah. I mean, and they give you gems for doing things. I haven't spent any money on it, and I'm still having a fun time with it. For me, the big thing is the load times. Like I was playing Borderlands 3, and Borderlands 3 on an Xbox One takes forever to load.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God. Destiny 2 takes forever to load. So like I ran a lot of instances where I was waiting for a game to load and I couldn't play because then the kids needed help or something else came up. Whereas like this Genshin Impact, it loads in a couple seconds and I can play like a minute or two and just stop right away, go do take care of what I need to take care of, come back, play it again. So
Nice.
I'm a mobile gamer now because of COVID. It's sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
Oh,
No, that's
such a negative feeling thing to say.
yeah.
Sounds like it'd
We
be
had
fun,
this
though.
conversation before, though, Ronan. Like, if people, again, it goes back to the fucking coffee thing. You like playing the game on the platform you like to play it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm not gonna shame you because you're not a PC gamer, or anything like that. But
Well,
yeah. So, but that's a really interesting transition that happened because of this game that came out that now you are a mobile gamer, which is
yeah, because I only have like small
honestly fun
bursts
to
of
call you.
time, so I need to try to fill it as quickly as I can, and the console takes too long to do anything.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You're
If
gonna
I
be
ever
able to
become an
play-
adult, that'll be a concern.
sure.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Matt and I do not have kids. Separate.
Well, but you guys have dogs, and I found dogs are like kids because they like being walked or run in the morning, and if they don't get run or walked in the morning, in the afternoons they get a little cranky. So
My dogs live outside.
oh well,
Oh,
we
nice.
have a gate that they can come in and out of the house, but
I have cats, so
oh
yeah.
cats,
They're like little dogs that don't have the maintenance. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. They do whatever they want.
Well, I mean, they are intensely focused on us. Like they They love to be in our presence. When we get home, they greet us at the door, and they're super excited that we're here. They get all wired, and they run around the house, jump up the furniture, jump down, and then when we settle down, they settle down. But then we don't have to walk them. All we got to do is feed them and make sure they have water, and that's it. And enough pets in the day.
Well,
But
I have two huskies.
You're working from. Oh,
Well, I'll say I have two huskies, and they love cats. So I'm walking around the neighborhood, and I found where all the cats live in our neighborhood because they see those cats and they try to get them.
Oh,
when you say love cats, how do you mean that? Like they love to play with cats or love to like consume cats?
I'm afraid to find out, so I haven't found out yet.
yeah.
Because
Well,
I don't
thank you for
know.
mentioning
Okay.
Dogs.
All right.
I don't know which love they would like. So
Get a kitten and find out. Don't. I'm joking.
Wow. So
That's not even a good joke.
my question for you, Crack, you're working from home now, right? So do the
Yep.
cats like? Are they? Because you're talking about interacting when you come home and stuff like that. Is that still a thing, or how is that with you now at home?
So they love that we work from home now. It's me and my wife, and we both work for the same state agency for state of Washington. So, the cats they just love it. I mean, they did it before COVID, or they did it before this year. But if we go to the grocery store, or like we go visit my wife's parents or something, or my parents, then we come home and they're just like super excited. But otherwise, it's like even for them, us waking up is like coming home to them. So like they sleep. Either they sleep on the bed, but as soon as they know that we're up, then they're up and they're wired and they're running around and they're meowing at us to like chase them and feed them and do whatever. It's like they're like eternal little balls of happiness. And yeah, it's like we hit the jackpot with cats, of course. Cats are not like this. Not in general. But
All right. So I actually have a very specific question. So for those of y'all, obviously, we do have like agendas and things like that. And
Or topics,
Krakenfall
yeah.
on his agenda very specifically wrote, "Life has been a Star Wars style asteroid belt." And
you want to know?
I kind of want to know about that one because I literally just saw that on this bullet point. And I'm like, what is that?
Man, 2020 has been crazy. It's like one of those things when, like March 13th, I think was I think I almost remember the date like that my office went into lockdown. We work for the state, so we're very much linked to what the governor was doing. And Jay Inslee's the governor for Washington. He's been very, very like one of the responsible states, quote unquote. I mean, responsive to the COVID like recommended actions. So immediately health order, do this, 6 feet, wear masks in public. The health commissioner had that, I think April or something like that. Anyway, what it means was like we were working from home like from the beginning, at least that the United States responded. So like March 13th was the Monday after, like I was just watching the news and oh man, I bet we're going to be working from home. And then I went to work on Monday and then I said, "Hey, are we going to lock down?" She's like, "Yep, go home." So, okay. And then I went home March 13th. I
Bought
think
some
it was
toilet
on Monday.
paper.
What's that? Oh yeah.
Bought some.
I had just gone to Costco the weekend before that.
Oh,
And
that's
I
lucky.
had bought a giant case, and that lasted us till like June. So I got super lucky, but absolutely Costco, Target, Safeway, all of the big chains that would have anywhere that would have toilet paper did not that week. I got super lucky, but yeah, it's just been. I mean, the whole point in mentioning the beginning of COVID is that from a personal standpoint, like, what does this mean for us? Well, we don't know much about the virus. I have asthma, so I'm in the list of at-risk people. Like, if I get it, I will have a
Asthma
hard time
gang,
surviving.
rise up.
Yeah, seriously. That's great. More people. Actually, that's not great. I'm sorry that we have asthma. But it's like that existential dread. Oh, you've even got it's in my bag. I've got multiples, but what does this mean for us? It's like, 2% mortality rate. And it's like, well, what about crippling, life-altering side effects? And, it was just, that's when the stress began, I should say. And I'm not really great at managing stress in, like, any way. I'm the kind of person where it kind of just piles up, and if I don't do the thing that, like, helps relieve stress, like if I don't get the hours clocked in for my own stress management, then which, by the way, is gaming. Like, that's, I'm gonna need therapy to figure that out. But if that means I have been gaming a lot. But there's been a lot of other things this year. My friend who's legally blind has been going through a really hard time. Like his dad is dying from colon cancer. And it's a really weird kind of thing. But he's legally blind. He's an only child, and he's been like my best friend since I was like 10. So it's like, it's really tough. And then he's having a hard time on top of that. And then, there's divorce in the family right now. And it's just like everything is getting thrown at us. So it's absolutely like feeling like flying in the Millennium Falcon, not knowing if we're going to get out of this, or like our freaking hyperdrive is down and the Empire's right on top of us. We can fly in and out of the asteroids, but we're just as, C3PO, don't tell me the odds. Like, we're going to make it through this. And, we haven't hit the asteroid worm yet. We haven't seen what that is, but maybe that won't happen because, I don't know, the election's over. I'm like, we're not going to talk about it, but I'm really glad. I have been completely staying away from it just because I don't have room in my life for that stress. But yeah, games have been the thing that sort of has been grounding, and like I've been playing Animal Crossing was a godsend. It was like I can engage with, as long as I have a goal in a game, and sometimes that goal can be, getting the next weapon or
getting out of debt.
Yeah. Or, then I can play a game. And, if it's got good music, which I really care about music, then, that's a bonus. And if it's got fun mechanics or, non-abusive microtransactions or, those kinds of things, I can get a lot out of a game. And Animal Crossing has been one of the ones that has been really awesome. Been playing a lot of other games. Death Stranding I also played. You're kind of right. It is a walking simulator. I didn't think about it that way. I mean, I am post-apocalyptic UPS man in that game, and it's the kind of game where you can throw a couple YouTube videos on in the background or a podcast or two, and just like, I'm gonna go save everyone in the United States of America after the Death Stranding.
It's a great game. I love that game.
Yeah, I have maxed out 5-starred all of the preppers except for the pizza dude, and I don't know if you've seen that one.
I don't know how I got on the pizza guy yet. I'm in the middle of the U.S. right now.
Right, it's at the East Coast. It's
okay.
Or no, it's in the Midwest. It's in the Midwest. It's Peter Englert.
Maybe
I have no idea what y'all are talking about.
You know what?
So
I think I did 5-star him.
Yeah, Death Stranding is, you got to go connect people to the internet, the futuristic, post-apocalyptic internet.
Wait, that's really your goal? Is like,
yeah,
you're a network technician?
This is perfect game for you, Matt. Like,
no. Why would I want?
Get off work and go back to work.
Exactly.
Right after dinner.
It's like, I want to troubleshoot network problems for like all 24 hours of the day.
No troubleshooting. There's smarter people for that. All you do, your whole thing is that you're a courier, because like the whole thing is the Death Stranding is an event where like some other dimension um, broke into ours, and rain is now accelerates time. And so if you get caught out in the rain, you'll age and die within a matter of seconds. And so everyone has to stay indoors, or unless you have protection. And there are these things when people die, they turn into oh crap, I forget what they're called.
I thought they were.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna stop you there. So you're a UPS man in a world where the rain kills people, and somehow your main goal is to fix the internet?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, all right.
I
that
mean,
sounds like a Kojima game for sure.
Yeah, and the whole point is you got to connect the internet from the East Coast to the West Coast of America. And your
what,
sisters
like it's a railroad or something? Like, what is this?
And you fight monsters with your pee, basically.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I am so glad I never bought this game. There was so much hype about that game.
It's fantastic. It's good. Fantastic.
It is good.
I mean, if you don't like walking simulators, then that's one thing.
But it's not. I mean, it's not just that though. I mean, that's a portion of it. But I just feel like when you're doing it, not
only do you have to walk, you have to build bridges too.
Or
and
use bridges that people have built
connects
before you.
To your. Yeah. So that's where the social aspects of the game come in, because.
So that part I read about, and that is cool, but I still can't get over the fact that I'm delivering like that. And
so
okay, yeah.
I mean, just for viewer or listeners, the social aspects in Death Stranding are you don't see anyone. It's not multiplayer, but everything that you build in the different areas of the game gets made available to other players. So like every world area has a limit on how much you can build. And I don't know how they did it. This is like some advanced like instance software. I don't know. I mean, I won't go into how I think they did it, but the stuff that you make is available to other players, and same with theirs. So like once you unlock and connect the internet to a certain area, every single human settlement, they call it preppers in the game, but it's like human settlement, has like a region or a sector that gets unlocked and connected to the internet, and then all of the buildings from other players appears. So like that's kind of like the tower mechanism from like a Ubisoft game, where like you go climb the tower and connect it, and then you can see all of the villages and points of interest and all that. It's the
I like
same
how
thing.
You said a Ubisoft game and not Assassin's Creed, because at this point every Ubisoft game is the same.
Well, yeah, because they're the worst about it. But so it's really cool, because then you can do things that benefit other players and benefit you. So like one of the things is zip lines, which I do a ton of. And like when I got to the point in the game where you could create zip lines, and it makes it so you don't have to drive places or drive through dangerous areas with all the monsters, you can just zip line past them. I actually spent a number of hours going and building a zipline network so that you could get to the different settlements really quickly. And then in the meantime, the side quests in the games are UPS deliveries. Like you can commission they can commission a delivery with you to the other settlement, and then you get favor points or the currency. It's there's a lot of mechanics in the game. It's pretty engaging for a person like me, but
how is the UI?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's a unique experience that you probably never played before and might never ever play again. It's I recommend it. At least try it.
Yeah.
So I will take that under consideration. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kraken, I will say though, the Star Wars asteroid theme is fantastic. It is one of my favorite Star Wars songs or themes. It's a really good song. So
Yeah.
listen to it if you get a chance. It's so good. So good.
I mean, you're talking about the John Williams track
Yes.
for the yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I love that thing. The quick little flute. Such a good. Anyway, sorry. And Animal Crossing has horrible UI.
It does?
Are you kidding me?
I'm just kidding.
It's terrible, Crack.
Monster Hunter rules.
It's so simple.
The
I don't know
perfect
what's
UI
terrible
is
about it.
Monster Hunter World. He is correct.
Animal Crossing has terrible dialogue. That's the thing. Well, this has been the first episode of the Winning Sometimes show. We will be working on this a little bit more. We'll have a couple new episodes coming out. We'll be talking about things like specific video games that we love, why we love them. We'll be talking about specific topics, pretty much anything that we love and are passionate about. So yeah, thank you for listening. I'm Clint.
I'm Matt.
I'm Emiliano.
And yeah, we'll talk to you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.